إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سار على سبيله إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So inshallah ta'ala, we'll start today an introduction to studying the book Al-Bulugh Al-maram. And as I mentioned, before we start, inshallah, I'll mention the main resources that I'll be using personally myself in extracting the benefits that we can derive from the ahadith of Bulugh Al-maram. There's three main books. The first of them is Sharh Al-Mukhtasar Al-Bulugh Al-maram by Sheikh Uthaymin rahimahullah. Sheikh Uthaymin, he has an extensive explanation of Bulugh Al-maram. But in 3 volumes, there's a Mukhtasar, a summarized explanation of Sheikh Uthaymin. Also, we have Al-Jami' li Fawaid Al-Bulugh Al-maram. Al-Jami', this is 3 volumes also, and this is by Sheikh Abdul Rahman Al-Barraq, Hafidhah Ta'ala, and of the senior scholars of today. And one of the students had summarized or collected all these benefits and placed them in a 3 volume book. And then also we have Minhat Al-Alam, which is an explanation of Bulugh Al-maram by Sheikh Abdullah Fawzan. Sheikh Abdullah Fawzan. Now, so that's the planned resources to be used bi'ithnillahi ta'ala. So, of the things that's discussed regarding in the beginning of this book is some of the terms that are used by the Sheikh Hafidh ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, who authored this book, where he mentioned in his introduction, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, قال الإمام حافظ بن حجر الأسقلاني رحمه الله تعالى في مقدمة كتابه البلوغ المرام من أدلة الأحكام: الحمد لله على نعمه الظاهرة والباطنة قديما وحديثا، والصلاة والسلام على نبيه ورسوله محمد وآله وصحبه الذين ساروا في نصرة دينه سيرا حثيثا، وعلى أتباعهم الذين ورثوا علمهم والعلماء ورثة الأنبياء أكرم بهم وارثا وموروثا. أما بعد، فهذا مختصر يشتمل على أصول الأدلة الحديثة للأحكام الشرعية، حررته تحريرا بالغا ليصير من يحفظه بين أقرانه نابغا ويستعين به الطالب المبتدئ ولا يستغني عنه الراغب. Within this, he mentions هذا مختصر. This is a summary, a concise work. يشتمل على أصول الأدلة الحديثية, that consists of the primary foundations from the hadith regarding matters to do with ahkam, rulings within the Sharia. I mentioned he analyzed them intensely for those who would memorize it and preserve them, that they would stand out regarding their peers, and the beginning student of knowledge is able to use this as a means of assisting them, and the one who is an advanced student of knowledge will still benefit from this work. But the thing that's mentioned, even though he mentions that this is mukhtasar, al-mukhtasar means qalil al-alfaz, lakin kabir al-fa'ida. Mukhtasar means something that is few of words, but filled with benefit, great in benefit. So it's a work that is few words, but the benefit is abundant. Of the things that he mentioned, وقد بينت عقب كل حديث من أخرجه من الأئمة لإرادة نصح الأمة. That he mentioned, I clarified at the end of, or I made clear at the end of each hadith who had extracted this hadith, and who brought it out from the scholars of the A'immat al-Hadith, for those who want لإرادة نصح الأمة, as a means of advising some ikhlas towards the ummah. فالمراد سبعة, he mentioned al-murad bis-sab'a. If he says رواه السبعة, then it means Ahmad wal-Bukhari wa-Muslim wa-Abu Dawud wa-Nasa'i wa-Tirmidhi wa-Ibn Majah. So if he says rawahu, then that is what is mentioned, those who are intended. وَبِالسِّتَّةِ مَنْ عَدَى أَحْمَدٍ. And if he says rawahu sitta, everyone other than Imam Ahmad in his Musnad. And if he says bil khamsa, then it's Ahmad wa ashab al-sunan, then the four sunan of Nasa'i, Abu Dawud, Ibn Majah and Tirmidhi, without Bukhari. So it says rawahu khamsa, then it knows that this is not narrated by Bukhari or Muslim, but Imam Ahmad and the four sunan. And if it mentions bil arba'a, then that is without Ahmad, Bukhari or Muslim, but the ashab al-sunan, and that is Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah and Nasa'i. I mentioned bil thalatha, then that means without when he says bil thalatha, that it means without the first three and the last one, i.e. not in Ibn Majah. So in Dawud, Abu Dawud, Nasa'i and Tirmidhi, when he says rawahu thalatha. Al-Muttafaq alayhi, then we know this is Bukhari and Muslim. And he mentions, if he says قَدْ لَا أَذْكُرُ مَعَهُمَا غَيْرُهُمَا, if he says Muttafaqun alayhi, he won't mention that anyone else who's narrated it. So that's of the thing that's important as well. Whenever you go for a book, within the introduction of the one who writes it, they may mention some terms that they use and what they intend by those terms. What is the intention behind the terms they have used? For example, when he mentions Sab'a, we now know who he's referring to. Sitta, Khamsa, like this, we know those who are being mentioned. Is this book for beginner level or advanced students? It can be for all. It depends how it's taught. The level of benefit derived and the level of study goes back to how it's taught. But what we can see from this book itself is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed this ummah with those people of knowledge who have taken great efforts in deriving a hadith of the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and placing them in the works such as this. You have Bulugh Al-maram, Umdatul Ahkam, and other than them. And of the things that is mentioned by Ahlul Ilm, مما يدل على إخلاص المؤلف, what is sometimes evidence of the sincerity of the one who authored the book, is by Ahlul Ilm. The amount of attention given by Ahlul Ilm to the likes of those works. And this is from those examples. You'll find there's abundant explanations of Bulugh Al-maram. Many, and even throughout the 1400 years of Islam, there's been, after the one hadith, but you have a selected few that have become renowned books that are always referred to and mentioned among Ahl al-Ilm. وهذا أيضا مما يدل على إخلاص المؤلف بإذن الله تعالى. This also shows the author that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala وفقه بالقيام على هذا العمل, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him success in being able to carry out this work. وأوصى الاعتناء بها من أمة الإسلام, also the Muslims throughout the Muslim world giving due attention to this work. And this is of those works that's also been translated into English and other languages, لإيصال الفائدة للجميع, propagating, allowing the benefit to reach the masses. But again, of the things that is beneficial of this book as well, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani هو من أئمة الحديث. He's from those who are considered to be an imam in the science of hadith. An imam in the science of hadith. Of the things that he alluded to as well within his introduction, of the things that is inherited by Ahl al-Ilm is what? Inherited from the Prophets is ilm. The only thing that is left behind from the Prophets in inheritance that has been inherited up until this day and continues to be inherited is knowledge. فنستعين بالله تعالى ونسأل الله علما نافع وأن يعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما اللهم آمين. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to teach us that which will benefit us and increase us in knowledge. And with that, inshallah ta'ala, we'll begin. Of the things that we focus on is the istikhraj al-fawaid, extracting the benefits of the hadith. And also at times we will have to discuss whether this hadith is authentic or not. And sometimes what we will learn is important for us to know what is the masadir, sharia, where do we derive the ahkam from. Primarily, the primary sources are al-Quran wa Sunnah, thumma al-ijma' wal-qiyas. So we have that which is derived from the Quran, then the Sunnah, and then that which is agreed upon by consensus, and then that which is done based upon analogy. Now, so you'll find sometimes a hadith may be da'if, it may be weak, ولكن أجمع الأمة أو أجمع العلماء على صحة المعنى. You'll find at times not authentic. However, the scholars have consensus that the meaning of the hadith is correct, and based upon that is acted upon. Not the weak hadith, but the meaning of the hadith. And in fact, that is consensus between the scholars regarding the meaning of that particular hadith. And we will see examples of this. We will see examples of this. And as I mentioned, for us, the primary objective is to extract benefits that we're able to act upon immediately, inshallah ta'ala, whilst we're in pursuit of the Arabic language, to be able to benefit from Ahl al-Ilm. Because I can tell you for a fact there's a major difference between listening to myself and listening to the scholars that I'm listening to when preparing for these lessons, or even just benefiting for myself in studying these works. The knowledge is only to be taken from the scholars, and you'll see a major difference when you cross that bridge, inshallah ta'ala, where you truly tasted the sweetness of knowledge. But in the meantime, we ask Allah to make it easy for us to benefit, and for Allah to make us means for those who don't understand the Arabic language to be able to attain some benefit and knowledge that encourages them to learn and pursue knowledge. Ameen. So with that, we have the first bab. Bab al-miyahara. Now, generally speaking, when we speak about books of fiqh and the likes, or sometimes books of hadith, you'll find it says kitab and then bab and then fasl. So what is the difference? What is the meaning of these things? Now, kitab is the actual topic, which is tahara. And in تحت هذا الموضوع, underneath this subject, we have abwab, different chapters. Different chapters. So, and then you have within those chapters fusul, different masail, different matters in each chapter. So you'll find Kitab al-Tahara, the book of purification. في عدة الأبواب تتعلق بالطهارة. There's a number of chapters or topics underneath the topic of purification. So I mentioned the first Bab al-Miyah, which is now the topic of water. Now, why do we think we start with water? Out of all the things in Tahara, why do we start with water? لأن استعمال الماء في الطهارة هو الأصل. Because using water for purification is the asl. Now, that is the foundation. Now, the asl of purification. So, based upon that, that's why we have to start with water. Bab al-Miyah, the chapter of water. And the first hadith he mentions عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في البحر هو الطهور ماؤه الحل ميتته أخرجه الأربعة وابن أبي شيبة واللفظ له وصححه ابن خزيمة والترمذي ورواه مالك والشافعي وأحمد. Now, when we say أخرجه الأربعة, it was narrated by four, or mentioned by four. Who are we talking about? It says narrated by four. Who are we referring to? Not the four Imma. When we say the Arba'a, it's not Bukhari, it's not Muslim, and it's not Imam Ahmed. We say أخرجه الأربعة بمعنى أخرجه أصحاب السنن. نعم أصحاب السنن أي أبو داود النسائي الترمذي وابن ماجه. So when you hear it was collected by, or it was mentioned by the four, collected by the four, then it's talking about Ashab al-Sunan. I want to say Ashab al-Sunan because we have Sunan Abu Dawood, Sunan, and Nasa'i Sunan, At-Tirmidhi, Sunan Ibn Majah. Well, yeah. So that's when we say Arba, Ashab al-Sunan. Jayid. So he mentions the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam, was asked regarding al-Bahr, the sea. And of the things he mentions, huwa at-tahuru ma'uhu wal-hillu maytatuhu. Is water is tahur, and the deceased, the dead of the sea life is halal to eat, like the fish. The exceptions that we have regarding that which comes from is a timsah, crocodile. Some say la yajuz, And you have difta' or dufta', the frogs. Frogs are not allowed to be killed or eaten. And you have sea snakes. Sea snakes. هذا ما ذكر أهل العلم أنه استثني. That's the exemptions. So everything is halal from the sea except ما استثني في الشرع, that which has been made exempt. As for water, أهل العلم انقسم يعني في الفقه ينقسم الماء إلى أقسام. You have those who they say water is of 3 types. You have those who say water is of 2 types. الذين يقولون أن الماء 3 أقسام, they say water is 3 types. They say طهور يعني مطهر لغيره, that can be used for purification. And you have طاهر, that which is pure but cannot be used for purification, i.e. for wudu and the likes. And you have najis, that which is impure. والله أعلم, الصحيح أنه ينقسم إلى قسمين. That which is more correct is that it is of 2 types. And ليس في الكتاب والسنة ماء طاهر. Rather, it's either طهور or najis. وهذا ما مال إليه وقاله الشيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية رحمه الله وغيره. That is of the things that was mentioned by Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah and other than him, that the water is either tahur or najis. When it comes to those who say the water is tahir, يعني هذا فيما اختلط بشيء طاهر فغلب عليه فخرج من مسماه. It's something pure mixed with water and changed the name. Because, for example, if I had water and I put black tea leaves in the water, that is now going to be called tea. It's no longer water. The tea leaves, are they pure or impure? They're pure. So it doesn't make the water najis. However, it's no longer called water. But that's of things that we also discuss. So of the fawaid from هذا الحديث, from the benefits, is جواز ركوب البحر, the permissibility of sailing at sea. And you have other evidence for that, especially for business and the likes. As Allah subhanahu says in Surah Al-Jathiyah, الله الذي سخر لكم البحر لتجري الفلك فيه بأمره ولتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون. Allah subhanahu the one who made the ocean subservient to, that your ships can sail in it by the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and for you to seek from Allah's virtue, and that you may be of those who are grateful. So it's permissible to sail at sea. And also from the benefits of sailing at sea was of the ways that people did business. And also mentions that من نعم الله تعالى على عباده تسخير البحر لهم. From the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon his servants is making the ocean, the sea, subservient to mankind. For the mankind to benefit from it and make use of it now. Also, it shows that the one who asked about the seawater may have had doubt in the purification of it. Why? Because it is salty. No, very salty. When it comes to seawater, we have al-ma' al-'adhb wal-ma' al-milhi. You have that which is very salty and that which is sweet. It's not so salty. No. And كذلك مرج البحرين يلتقيان, that the 2 oceans are not able to mix, and that is one that is salty and one that is sweet, or not salty as they say. Also, we learn from this hadith إزالة الشبهة والإشكال بالسؤال أهل العلم. Of the ways to get rid of doubts or matters that are not clear for you is to ask people of knowledge. Of the ways to remove doubts or problems in something you understand is to go back to the people of al-ilm. الرجوع إلى أهل العلم. As Allah say, فاسألوا إذا يعني فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون. If you don't know, ask the people of knowledge. Also, when a person is استحباب زيادة المفتي على جواب السؤال على ما تدعو إليه حاجة السائل وذلك من فقهه ونصحه. Of the things that is also recommended at times, that the mufti to give more details in the answer when they see that there's a need for that. So here, what is the ruling of the water of the ocean? What was the addition that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave regarding al-hillu maytatu? The dead of the ocean is halal to be eaten. Obviously, when it comes to animals, al-barriya, the animals of land, if you found an animal, a chicken that was dead, you're not allowed to eat it. It had a mayta, haram. حرم عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير كما قال الله تعالى. Now, it's been prohibited upon you that which is dead and that which is and that which is and blood, ولحم الخنزير and swine. So, as for the sea, if you found a dead fish, you can eat it. It's fine. It's fine. That which is from sea life, then is permitted. حيا وميتا. Also, of the benefits, لا فرق بين الماء البحر وغيره من المياه كماء المطر وماء العيون ونحوها. There's no difference between water of the sea, water of rain, and also water from springs. The ruling is the same. They're all tahur. Now, so he mentions حل ميتة أو ميتة البحر, the permissibility of the dead of the sea is يعني ما مات فيه أو خارجه من جميع حيوانه وهو ما لا يعيش إلا فيه. So it's all of the things that die either in the water or outside of it, but from the animals that only live in the sea. إلا ما ثبت ضرره, with the exemption of that which has been affirmed in their harm, i.e. is harmful for you. فهذا ليس يحرم على ميتة يعني يحرم على الضرر. So that which is harmful is not made impermissible based on the fact that it is dead, but based on the fact that it is harmful. Also, from the principles that we benefit from this hadith, تخصيص القرآن بالسنة, that the Quran can be made, things can be specified within the Quran by way of the Sunnah. For example, جاء في القرآن حكم الميتة. In the Quran, the ruling of the Mayta is mentioned. مطلقة. نعم. إن حرم عليكم الميتة. نعم. So here it's clear, it's just in general, that anything that is impermissible. However, when the Sunnah comes, it gives takhsis, أن ميتة البحر is exempt from this. The dead of the ocean, of the sea, of that which lives in the water, is exempt from this ruling. No. So a benefit I want to mention as well that slipped me prior to when it says Kitab al-Tahara. When it comes to the meaning of al-Tahara, there's a number of meanings. And the first of them is Taharat al-Qalb, Taharat al-Qalb, a purification of the heart. Well, Tahara ma'nawi, that's the Tahara that is conceptual in terms of, for example, al-Kafir najis, the disbeliever is impure. Now, for example, al-Mu'min la yanjus. The hadith al-Mu'min la yanjus, the Mu'min is never impure. When the hadith of when Abu Hurairah when the Prophet came to meet with him, he went to make ghusl because he was in a state of janaba. And he didn't want to sit and speak with the Prophet in that state. And when the Prophet asked him about that affair, he said, Kuntu junuba, he said, al-mu'min la yanjus. So in that situation we know, al-mu'min tahir, the Muslim is pure in the terms of taharat al-qalb. The second is taharat al-badan. Naam. So the first one, طهارة القلب, هذه طهارة الإنسان من الشرك. يعني يطهر قلبه من الشرك. They purify their heart from الشرك والكفر. Now, and then we have طهارة البدن, فهي طهارة ظاهرية ويقصد بها شيئين أو شيئان. It's an apparent purification that is intended two matters. الطهارة من الأحداث. الطهارة من الأحداث والطهارة من الأنجاس. So طهارة من الأحداث, for example, this is بالوضوء والغسل. Now رفع الحدث is to remove the impurity, which is وصف قائم بالبدن. It's not a tangible impurity, it's a descriptive impurity. It's a description of the state that a person is in. Now, so if a person, for example, person passed wind or قضى حاجته, relieved themselves, فالآن وقع الحدث. Now there's been an incident that makes them in a state of impurity. فيطهر بالوضوء. For example, a person will then purify himself with al-wudu. The second is طهارة من الأنجاس, يعني طهارة من النجاسة, هو إزالة النجاسة, removing that which is impure, impurities. وهذا البقعة ومن اللباس ومن البدن. That is, when it comes to removing impurities, that is from the place of worship, the clothes that one is wearing, and also from the body. From the body. طهارة البدن. بدن. نعم. Now, so as I mentioned before, when it comes to when we mention that which lives in the sea, we mentioned the Sheikh he mentioned that is that which lives only in the sea. Now, that's why when it said, for example, the impermissibility of eating frogs, a difta, because they mentioned that there is evidence that it was prohibited to kill them, and if you're going to eat something that's going to be killed, and also it's mentioned it's not from حيوان البحر. It's not from the things that live in the sea. It doesn't state only live in water. And also, such is the case with a timsah, the crocodile, and also the fact that they have canines, as mentioned by some. Also, hayat al-bahr, the sea snakes, that is because of the harm that it comes with. It mentions that it's harmful, so that is not that is they don't permit that on other bases of the harm that comes from it. So, inshallah, we will pause there today and we'll continue next lesson, inshallah. As we mentioned, next lesson we'll be starting Aqeedah al-Wasatiyya as well. So, Aqeedah al-Wasatiyya will be before Salah, Bulugh Al-maram will be after Salah, inshallah ta'ala. The main, if a person can, it's encouraged to try and memorize the hadith as much as possible, inshallah. And the easiest way to be able to do that is to read it repetitively. Because if you when we're looking at the hadith of Bulugh Al-maram and the study of Bulugh Al-maram, we're looking at hadith of ahkam, things that rulings are based upon. You see, there may be discussions of differences at times of between Ahl al-Ilm, between the madhahib, but the main thing is extracting the benefits from the hadith that had been mentioned by Ahl al-Ilm. What are the immediate benefits that we can extract from these ahadith? No. Even the ones that are, because what you find, some of the ones that are da'if, there's still rulings based upon, for example, the meaning may be correct. So, for example, as we're going to see, like one of the hadith is da'if, but we'll talk about the benefit of ijma', what is mentioned, the consensus regarding the meaning of the hadith. Also, the things that we'll try to mention at times is benefits regarding the narrators of the hadith. So the first hadith that we mentioned was narrated by who? Abu Hurairah. I mentioned Abu Huraira, who his name is Abdurrahman ibn Sakhr al-Dawsi al-Arjah. هو من يعني مشهور بكنيته he's more known for his kunya being Abu Huraira. Also, this was given to him in the time of Jahiliyyah before Islam. That he was called Abu Huraira prior to Islam. أسلم عام خيبر, he entered Islam the year of Khaybar, غزوة خيبر, ولازم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, and he stayed close to the Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم. كان من أكثر الصحابة رواية للحديث. He was of those of the Sahaba who narrated most of the hadith. And it was said, قال له ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما كنت ألزمنا لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأعلمنا بحديثه. So you were the one who stayed closest to the Messenger of Allah from among us and the most knowledgeable of us with his hadith. كان من أوعية العلم, he was from the vessels of knowledge. من كبار أئمة الفتوى, also from the senior of the Sahaba in giving fatwa. نعم. Also was mentioned that Bukhari says روى عنه 800 نفس أو أكثر. It mentioned, Imam Bukhari said 800 of the Sahaba or 800 people narrated or more from Abu Huraira. وتوفي سنة 57 الهجري بالمدينة. And he died year 57 after Hijrah رضي الله تعالى عنه in Medina. فهذا شيئا عن الراوي. That's something we'll mention inshallah ta'ala from time to time, just something regarding the narrator of the hadith of the Sahaba, just to gain some benefits. مما يسمى المناقب, the virtues and the likes of the Sahaba. Abu Hurairah رضي عنه, of the most knowledgeable of the Sahaba regarding the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. وقد أثنى عليه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لجهده وحرصه على علم الحديث. And the Prophet also praised him for his efforts in seeking the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Alayhi salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He was from among the most knowledgeable Sahaba. So inshallah out of that we'll stop here today and we'll continue with Kitab al-Miyah inshallah ta'ala في الدرس القادم بإذن الله تعالى. فجزاكم الله خيرا. اللهم صل وسلم على نبينا وحبيب محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.